My family kicked me out because my sister falsely accused me of stealing her engagement ring. 3 years later, they discovered it in the garbage disposal. I was 22 when my sister Claire got engaged to her boyfriend Derek. She was 26 and had been planning this wedding since they started dating. The ring was gorgeous, some vintage thing Derek's grandmother passed down. 2 carats with tiny diamonds around the band. Claire kept it in this velvet box on her dresser because she was paranoid about losing it while doing dishes or working out. I lived at home while finishing college and saving money. Our rooms shared a bathroom, so I saw that ring box every single day. One Tuesday morning, I woke up to Claire screaming. She was tearing apart her room, throwing pillows and emptying drawers. Mom and Dad ran in asking what was wrong. The ring was gone. Claire immediately looked at me standing in the bathroom doorway and said, "You took it." I laughed because I thought she was joking. Why would I take your ring? But she wasn't joking. Her face was dead serious. "You're the only one who comes in my room. You've always been jealous that Derek chose me." My stomach dropped. I tried explaining that I hadn't touched her stuff, that maybe she moved it somewhere and forgot. She started crying, telling Mom and Dad that I'd been acting weird around Derek, making comments about the ring. None of that was true. Derek was fine, but he wasn't my type, and I'd literally never said anything about the ring except that it was pretty. Dad searched my room while I just stood there in shock. He went through my drawers, my closet, under my bed, everything. No ring. But that didn't matter to Claire. She was convinced I'd already sold it or hidden it somewhere else. Mom pulled me aside and asked if I'd taken it and was too scared to admit it. The fact that my own mother had to ask me that made me want to throw up. The next few days were hell. Claire called the police and filed a report. An actual officer came to our house and questioned me like I was a criminal. My parents stopped talking to me unless they had to. Family dinners were silent with everyone staring at me like I was a thief. Derek even came over and asked me man to man to just give it back, that they wouldn't press charges if I returned it. A week later, Dad sat me down and said I needed to move out. He said even if I didn't take the ring, I'd destroyed the trust in our family, and Claire couldn't heal with me there. I was being kicked out of my childhood home over something I didn't do. I moved into my friend Jen's apartment and slept on her couch for 2 months. My parents wouldn't return my calls. Claire blocked me on everything. I wasn't invited to the wedding that happened 6 months later. They replaced the ring with insurance money, and everyone moved on except me. I spent 3 years rebuilding my life, finishing my degree, getting my own apartment, starting a career in graphic design. I made new friends and went to therapy to deal with the fact that my family chose to believe I was a thief instead of believing me. Then last month, I got a call from my mom. Her voice sounded strange, shaky. She asked if I could come to the house. We needed to talk. I almost said no, but something in her tone made me drive over there. When I walked in, Dad was sitting at the kitchen table looking pale. Claire was crying on the couch. Mom told me to sit down. They'd been doing a major kitchen renovation. The contractors removed the old garbage disposal that week and found something jammed inside the blades. It was Claire's engagement ring. Mangled and scratched up, but definitely the same ring. Claire had apparently taken it off while doing dishes 3 years ago, left it on the counter, and somehow it fell into the sink. When she ran the disposal later that night, it must have gotten caught in the blades without making much noise. She never thought to check there. For 3 years, the ring had been sitting in our kitchen while they called me a thief. Claire couldn't even look at me. She just kept saying she was sorry over and over. Dad tried to explain that they were just protecting her, that it seemed obvious at the time. Mom wanted to know if I could forgive them and come back to family dinners. I stood up and looked at all 3 of them. I told them that ring sat in the disposal for 3 years, and none of them thought to check. But you know what you did check? My room, my closet, my entire life. You called the cops on me, kicked me out, didn't invite me to the wedding. 3 years of assuming I was a liar instead of spending 5 minutes checking the kitchen sink. I walked out and haven't been back since. Some things you can't take back, and broken trust is one of them.